This is it. Don't get scared now.
I have a problem. I have a problem with movies revolving around Christmas. Shit. You know, Christmas movies. And I know, Christmas movies are like these light, fluffy things. They're delightful little pieces of trash. And they're mainly for, you know, a younger demographic. They're for kids, who would have thought? So why exactly am I bashing them? They deserve it. Well, look, just because they're for kids, it's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for the lack of logic and the consequences when it comes to the fundamental themes of each and every single one of these goddamn movies and the thing that we learn. And it's not the meaning of Christmas, it's not that family is the most important thing in the world, and it's not some other perfect gift-wrapped morality reminder that we all love at the end of these movies and then forget about until we watch the next one. No. The one thing that we all learn in Christmas movies is that Santa Claus is goddamn real, okay? He's this tangible, physically present, touchable, very real, three-dimensional man. And throughout these movies, we learn this and we accept it. We laugh along with the characters and or Santa Claus and the weird hijinks that they find themselves in, and we cackle at the fucking idiot parents who never believed in him beforehand. Just by the way, when I'm talking about Christmas movies, in this video, I'm mainly really going to be talking about the most important one, the only one that really matters, and that is 2003's Elf, starring Will Ferrell, aka the most perfect film in existence. Yep, I said that.
All right.
So, Elf tells the story of Buddy, who is this guy who basically gets accidentally adopted by Santa and his elves and grows up thinking that he is one of these elves all his life. Early on in the film, though, he learns the tragic news that he has actually been adopted. And so the movie then follows his endeavor to New York, where his biological father is, to go meet him. What a fucking premise. It's just wonderful. It's a genius movie, okay? It's great. And so he does that, and when he gets there, they don't exactly get along, and fish out of water hijinks ensue, and Christmas is the best. That's basically what this movie is about. Point is, though, that Walter Holt, his father, and Buddy don't get along because Walter doesn't believe in Christmas. He doesn't have the Christmas spirit. He's a grumpy old man. He's the worst. What a loser. And so, of course, it's constantly on ends with Buddy throughout the movie. A poetic conflict for the ages. But most importantly, we learn that Walter doesn't believe in Santa Claus. We see this when he first meets Buddy and sarcastically says that he just got off the phone with him.
Santa must have called you.
Oh yeah, sure. He just got off the cell phone with me.
Which is ridiculous. Santa doesn't have a phone. That was a bad joke. Sorry. But look, that's okay. I can believe that this guy doesn't believe in Santa. For some reason, I can buy that. At the end of the movie, though, all logic is just thrown out the window and it completely contradicts itself and it's fucked. And it infuriates me. Everything turns to shit, and that's the case with a lot of Christmas movies where Santa happens to be real in the context of the film. Okay, so at the end of the movie, Santa's sleigh is fucked for some reason, and they have to fix it. And so, of course, they use that classic Christmas spirit to get it back up and running, even though it's already led by magical reindeer. But you know, logic, whatever. So the town sings Santa Claus is coming to town, and boy, does that work. Does that do the job? It does, and Santa's sleigh works again. What a magical movie. At some point just before this scene though, Walter actually meets Santa Claus and it's a jaw-dropping scene of drama. It's an expertly directed scene of a cinematic masterpiece. You feel every ounce of shock and awe. Walter now knows the truth. Santa Claus is real. But fuck that. That is where my problems begin to start. So think about this from Walter's perspective. So Walter has his own kid, okay? Other than Buddy, who lives with him. Like, it's a normal human kid. He doesn't think he's an elf or whatever. He's just a normal kid. So, if Santa Claus is real in the context of the film, how exactly does Christmas work? How exactly has this kid been receiving gifts all of his entire life? Oh, and thanks, IMDb. His name is Michael. So, did he just not get presents from his rich, successful parents? Did he just not ever get presents at all? Look, that's a possibility. Supposedly, Christmas is meant to be about more than just giving and getting gifts to and from friends and family. It's about, like, Jesus or something. I don't know. I'm getting off track here. Because if Santa is real in the context of the film, we can assume that he has been doing his job and been delivering presents to kids all around the world. And if that's the case, then Michael has been getting gifts from Santa his entire life. That's a decade or so of getting presents from this magical fuck, right? So, if that's the case, why the hell does Walter not believe in Santa Claus? Where exactly does he think these presents are just coming from? What? He doesn't wonder anything about that? Where the fuck does he think that these presents are coming from? Which we can safely assume are coming because in the context of the film, Santa Claus is real. And so he must be doing his job. So what? He doesn't think about where these random gifts are just appearing? There's something missing there, you know? Oh no! Or maybe, just maybe, and this actually follows into the logic of the film and plays along with the rules, Walter is actually an unattentive father. We see this throughout the movie. And so maybe, just maybe, he assumed that his wife was getting these presents, okay? And he didn't say anything, he just pretended to know or whatever, and the wife did the same thing. And she assumed that he was the one getting the presents, but we all know, the audience, we all know that Santa Claus was the one getting the presents, because again, in the context of the film, he is real. You know, in real life, I'm sure things like this happen where one parent gets a present for their kid and doesn't tell the other parent. Okay, fine, one lazy parent can excuse how getting gifts from Santa Claus works in these fictional universes. But that doesn't explain away every single parent. I mean, what about single parents? Where the fuck do they think the presents are coming from if they're the ones not getting it for their kid? Huh? That doesn't make any sense, does it? They have no idea. Just gifts are appearing in their house. So where the fuck are they coming from? What? Do they not think about that once? Well, they don't, because they're fictional characters and they don't really have thoughts. But that's not the point. The notion of Santa Claus is so ridiculous to these people in these fictional universes, but these magical gifts appearing in their house isn't? That's just completely believable? That's just totes normal? Come on, man!
Kill them.
Okay, so let's just say, by logic, there is another conspiracy theory type thing going on in the context of Christmas films. I have this idea that there is this con artist, this fictional con artist that belongs in every single Christmas movie in the background. He's never mentioned, we never see him, but he must be there. This explains away some of the logic, okay? So let's just say that there's this one guy that knows that Santa Claus is definitely real, okay? He's a witness, I guess. He saw him once. I don't know. He knows he's real. And so right from there, like the next year or whatever, he starts to build an empire. He starts to make this Christmas-based business. And he makes bank. He makes money. So this Christmas-based business is basically a delivery service, okay? And his job is to deliver presents to kids all over the world. Makes sense, right? And so let's just say that this business is like a subscription-based business where he gets parents to subscribe to the business and pay for the service. So they pay for some other people to get the presents and it just appears in their house. So they just think that that's what it is. They just buy that they bought this service and it's from the business. That makes sense. That explains why there are just presents in their house and whatever. But we all know as an audience that it was actually Santa who did it. So this business guy is actually a super scumbaggy asshole, okay? And he's working the system. He's getting all the profit. What a scumbag. What a fucking genius. What a stupid idea. What am I talking about?
You sit on a throne of lies.
But look, even if that was the case, you would also have to buy that every single parent in the world, in these fictional universes, have to all be subscribed to this service for it to make sense. There can't be one person not subscribed, because then they will be wondering where the hell these presents came from when it's actually Santa delivering them. And I just can't buy that stupid idea I just made up, okay? It's ridiculous. Not every single fictional parent is going to pay for that. It's just ludicrous. Just like this video. Not every single parent would subscribe. Subscribe? Oh, what a coincidence. Look at that button thing that I just put on the screen. Oh, isn't that enticing? You can subscribe to my channel for more dumb shit like this. Another long-winded conspiracy theory that I have behind stupid fictional Christmas worlds is that maybe Santa just isn't doing his job, okay? Maybe over the last century or however old Santa's supposed to be, he's become a lazy old fuck and he just doesn't care. He's this bastard that just doesn't want to do his job. And so, in the context of the film, all the presents that kids are getting are actually just legit presents that their parents are getting for them, okay? So that explains away the logic of where these presents are coming from. They're not. You know, no gifts, no Santa. The parents don't believe in Santa? Cool, that makes sense. That explains away that problem. But there's another little thread there that kind of doesn't make sense when you buy into that possibility in the context of the film. And that's that Santa is still making his slave labor camp run on. He's still making his magical little elves make toys. They are still processing, they are still producing, they're still making toys. The product factory stuff, it's still going on, okay? So why? Why would he still be doing that? And that really screws with my past theory. If they're making toys all year long, which we can assume, because in a lot of Christmas movies they usually are, they're like, oh my god, there's only 8 months till Christmas. Come on, we really need to hurry up and make whatever. So where are these toys going? Why are they still making them? This gets me onto another point, actually. In Elf, when we see the elves making the toys, it's always old school shit. It's always like a rocking horse, or it's like one of those Nutcracker Soldier toys or whatever. It's always outdated shit like that. Stuff that kids aren't playing with, even in the olden days of 2003. Kids didn't have stuff like this. They had PlayStations. Or, I don't know, Tazo packs. One of those stupid Bop It Twist-It toys.
Bop it!
I don't know what kids got in 2003, even though I was a kid in 2003, I would have been like 7. I don't remember what I got, get off my back. But this weird idea of where these elves are still making these outdated toys actually still does sort of play into Santa just being a lazy bastard and not doing his job. Because Santa doesn't even know what the fuck a PlayStation is. And even if he did, he can't just make a PlayStation, right? He is probably physically incapable of making a PlayStation, and based off North Pole distribution laws and copyright stuff and whatever, he's also probably legally not allowed to either. Santa isn't Sony. You heard that here first. And so every year he pushes the elves out of pride or shame to just keep making toys, outdated toys, because he can't keep up. He can't keep up with this modern world of PlayStations and whatever. And so he just doesn't want to admit that he's actually out of the game. And so every year the elves keep making the toys and Santa just chucks them. I don't know, he just burns them or something. And just lies about delivering them every year. Thus, no magical presents appearing in people's houses. Thus, the disbelief in the man himself. Thus, the exclusion of Christmas spirit on Walter Hobbs's part. And the explanation for why he doesn't believe in Santa Claus in 2003's perfect film Elf. Fuck, I did it maybe. I think I cracked the code. I just explained the logic behind Christmas movies, how Christmas works, and the lack of logic in how kids get presents from Santa Claus in the fictional worlds of Christmas movies. I did it, I explained it. Santa is still making the toys. He's very real, of course, in the context of the films. But because he can't make PlayStations and shit, he's given up. He's given up. The elves are making the toys. He's just chucking them away. That's the answer. We did it, guys. He's a scumbag. We outed him. Fucking ratbag, Santa Claus, gotcha. Gotcha, you got.
And that's that!